Okay, this video is going to be a little different for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm not working off of a script, so I'm sorry if I'm a little more rambly than I already am, because I know I'm already pretty rambly. But another reason this video is going to be difficult is this isn't really a video where I'm answering a question. This isn't really a video where I'm kind of understanding what I'm trying to get out of this video. I guess you could say this is a bit of a rant, and a bit of my own frustrations and kind of using some other people's experiences to talk about those a little bit. So if you're not in the mood for kind of a more heady, heavier video, then you can move along. Straight up, I don't think anyone's gonna watch this, and that's like kind of part of what I'm talking about here, because music as content has really been on my mind lately, and I don't really know what to do about it. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I've been kind of on a slow growth as a small content creator, and for the past little while I've not really done much of anything in the sense of like planned out videos, mostly streams. It's been a lot of live streams, and it's been a lot of, you know, kind of impromptu stuff, and I'll be the first to say it hasn't really sounded all that good on my end. And there's a real reason for that, and that reason is like music as content is not how music was meant to be. And I don't really know how to progress in this sort of musical field, because that's the only way that you can get people to listen to you. I'm sorry if you hear noises. I didn't even plug up my mic. It's just my camera's mic. So if you hear my dog in the background, if you hear cars going by, it's what it is. So I hope he doesn't mind, but he's kind of put these things into a lot better of words than I do. I was on Twitter and I saw Jeremy from Red Means Recording talking about some similar stuff, and I will link to the thread in the description below, but the gist of the thread is he's really frustrated with the place that you get put to create content, and kind of feeling uninspired because of that. He discusses the difficulties of, you know, having a sizable audience, but you know, being focused on views, and how those views don't always reflect that audience because people's content changes over the years, and you're really not going to retain everyone, and that can be really difficult, especially if you're used to a certain level of things. And I think one of the most affecting parts is when, and I'm just going to read this tweet. He says, "I'm out of things to teach. I've said everything I can. There's nothing left. I have no ideas. I've no cleverness left to give. This world is a kill and my cleverness is gone. I have no cute shtick to fall back on, no catchy bullshit to get people watching again. I'm done. YouTube has taken everything from me because I gave it all up under the false assumption that there would always be something to make a video about. There just isn't. Just the endless parade of new gear people buy thinking it will solve the problem of themselves." Pretty heavy. And that's from a creator who I really respect as not just a creator. Like, I think his work drive has been incredible. I think he's always put out very quality content. But I think first and foremost, he's an amazing musician. And I think that that kind of gets at the heart of what I'm trying to talk about here. You can be really solid musically, and it doesn't mean anything unless you're putting out that content. You can have honed your craft and put out some of the most mind-melting, mind-blowing things, and in this day and age, if you are not documenting every piece of that process, people aren't going to follow you for it. People aren't going to come to listen to it. And I'm aware that I might not be entirely capturing what Jeremy says here accurately. This is just kind of my reading of it, and this is my interpretations of it based on what I'm experiencing right now as a much, much smaller content creator who does not rely on this for any sort of money, who does not rely on this for any sort of, safety net. There's nothing, if I stopped making videos, if I stopped making music, it's not like I would lose anything other than, personal feelings. But what I'm taking out of this is a real sense of frustration with the way that the music industry is currently operating, and the music industry not being the music industry anymore. It's not about record labels. It's not about the music industry in its very easy to understand way, where you have labels and managers and you have a lot of people who you can direct frustrations at. And it becomes a lot more terrifying because it's a lot bigger than all of that. There's a world which has been shifted in its focus. Its shift has been from having an end result that really matters to having little bits and pieces that we can sort of patch all together to make it to something. And the only people who can get away with really stepping back, kind of hiding in the shadows, and then coming back with something that they've really put their time and effort into are the legacy artists. This is my own personal theory thing, but I've kind of have the idea that we're kind of out of the era of celebrity musicians. Not to say that there are not tons and tons of celebrity musicians currently, and not tons of new musicians who are gaining celebrity status. But if you think about the people who are big musicians still making music, who have been big musicians for a while, you're talking about people like Kanye West, people like Drake, people like Taylor Swift. They all got their start, and they all put out a lot of work at a time where the content creation field was so different. And now things are so much more flash in the pan. It's much harder to have a big pop artist, or even a big rock artist, or an electronic artist, or everything. It's hard to have them stick in at least the public consciousness anymore. Like, people will be very into specific artists, but you'd see a lot of people who, I would say 15, 20 years ago, would have this sort of incredible superstardom that are just themselves, despite being famous and despite being heard by millions, are still absolutely struggling in certain ways. Not necessarily struggling for survival, not necessarily struggling to make ends meet, but more struggling in the smaller ways where they feel like they're being kind of wrung dry because they need to keep doing things in order to stay relevant. Whereas a lot of these legacy artists, Kanye could go away for 15 years. He could come back, drop an album, it would be the biggest album. It would be the biggest album in the world. Same thing with a Taylor Swift type, same thing with a Drake type. As a very small content creator who doesn't really know his voice and doesn't really know his niche and does not have the time to try everything, does not have the money to try everything. I work 5 days a week. I have pretty intense anxiety, pretty intense depression, potentially other things going on, and focusing on things is really, really difficult. And it just kind of hurts sometimes to sit there, and it can get even more overwhelming to sit there and think, oh my God, the last video I released, like not live stream, but like video, was months ago. I'm doing something wrong. But I've not done anything interesting since that last video. I'm still working on getting better at what I do. I'm still honing my craft, and yet I feel like things are kind of falling through my fingers in a certain way, if that makes sense. I don't know why I'm asking. Are you gonna respond? Are you gonna talk to your screen? Say hello. Say hello. I don't know. I'm in a weird place with all of this right now, because I know I love to create music, but I've been feeling really beaten down that I'm always making music with the intent to share it. And if it's not shareable, I feel like I failed. Yeah, I feel like if I sit down here at this table, I start messing around with something, and I kind of like it, my brain immediately says, why aren't you streaming this? Why aren't you posting this? Why aren't you recording this? Why aren't you making content all the time? I don't know why. Gary Vee's up here. I fucking hate Gary Vee, but he's up here and he's being like, make content. I've tried taking breaks. It's hard, because if you're not being productive, whatever the hell that means, you feel like you're not accomplishing anything. And if you're not accomplishing anything, there's this sort of understanding that you're not successful, and you can't be successful. And I don't really know how to deal with that. I really want to share my love of music. I really want to share what makes me happy about making music. Sometimes that's incredibly consumer focused. I just got a new piece of gear I like. I just found a guitar pedal that's great. I'm working on, finding the perfect drum machine for me. Sometimes it's performance focused. And I really just want to talk about how I'm trying to take all of this and turn this into something that I can bring out into the world and make music. But sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes there's nothing happening. I don't know how to deal with that. This video is a hell of a bummer, but it's just a thing that I felt like I needed to talk about. A bit of an explanation as to why I haven't been here, for those who are curious. All 6 of you. I'll do the regular YouTube calls to action, where it's like, comment, subscribe. I have a Discord. I stream on Twitch sometimes. But the main thing that I want this video to be is just kind of a public record of the struggles that come with being a musician. Because the internet is a way to support that. YouTube is a way to push forward your musical career. And it really sucks. It really sucks. And I don't know what next step to take. So thanks for sitting through this. Have yourself a wonderful day. Try to detach yourself from the content machine. If you're a musician, if you're a creator of any type, try to normalize being able to step away. Don't let these algorithms control our lives. It's bad for us. It's bad for our art. And it's bad for the people who want to listen to it. It's a no-win situation. Unfortunately, this is out of our control. But starting to collect a group of like-minded people is still a nice thought in the meantime. So maybe it'll do something, at least community-wise, if not on a larger scale. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day. Give Flint a little pet on the head. Hey, Flint. That's a good boy. Hopefully my next video is nicer. Who knows? Have a good one. Bye-bye. Come here, come here. You're never on the camera. Let me get you on the camera. What a good boy. What a good boy. Mwah. There you go. Oh, I'm covered in hair.